Hello everyone, Deltoon here. I'm at work right now. I took the truck back to the dealership to get it programmed. They reprogrammed my body control module. I'll probably get the truck back later tomorrow or at the end of the week. I want to get it back as soon as possible so I can finish diagnosing. One thing to keep in mind, that when you get a salvaged vehicle, your dealer can restrict your vehicle. That does not mean they won't work on it. It just means that any work on it they can't guarantee. So they can't go into advanced diagnostics without actually charging you. Like if your vehicle wasn't restricted and they could go out of their way and do whatever without charging you. Basically, you could go to like not a flat rate store, a flat rate mechanic, but a by job. I forgot what it's called. Basically, a mechanic where you're doing that job through them because it's the cheapest. So there's no guarantee or warranty through them. That's basically what you get even through your dealer when your vehicle's restricted. Basically, the very first thing I did when I went to the dealership is that told them what I'd done so far. Their tech first thought that it may be my body harness, but I told him I replaced the body harness. So he said that it still could be bad, because I put an SLT harness in for a quad cab into a ST crew cab, and the only wires that need to be extended were brake light wiring, and I'll put that in just a second. A little short video of what my brake light connector is that goes up to the brake light for that connector, showing that there are no can lines on this connector. This is the harness that is in the back that I cut and actually extended from the standard cab, except the standard cab. So I have the crew cab. So that means all the wiring harnesses for the quad cab and crew cab are the exact same because it only has a standard cab. The only bus connector is a line bus, not a CAN bus. So there's no CAN bus inside this entire harness. And this was the one where I was saying that the top four were had numbers in them. I had a wire in them. And I think only the bottom two had harness, and I can't remember which two, but I think it was these two. Like, so that means 1 through 5. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or line, cargo, back, brake lamp, fuse ignition, and here you go, 6 and 10. 10 is ground, 9 is ground, so it might have had 9. Let's see, it's 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. So all the grounds, and then you had 6. So all of those wires, none of them are the CAN lines that I cut. It was only a line bus wire, which basically goes to my dash for the on-off switch for my headlamp. So when I first did it, they said that my RF receiver is not responding. So when I finally get it, go up there, they tell me that, okay, it's the RF receiver. They've got to look into it. So the whole day went because the guy couldn't work on it. He got pulled off of it. And I go up there this morning. Is it? It's not midnight yet. I went up there this morning and got with them because I thought gave them the wrong key and that they couldn't program it. Well, after they first tried the key that was programmed to the truck originally, they found out they could not get it programmed, obviously because it uses that key. And when I came in and told them that that key was already programmed, that's the key that came with the truck, that's the key that already had the valet key in it, they said, all right, okay. So they tried again with the other key that I already had given them that was blank, had never been programmed before. I get a call back, and they're telling me, okay, now that it's not the RF hub like they said it was, they can't guarantee that it's not the body harness, but they said I have a CAN C failure. Now, here's the thing. A system is your control area network system for all your electronics that uses any kind of module. Not any module, but basically a module that controls something else. So your throttle position sensor is not a module; it's just a sensor. Your mass airflow sensor and stuff like that—that's just a That's just a sensor. Modules are like your ECU, your TCM, your tire pressure monitor, your ABS, if you have it, your EPS, your electronic power steering, your SRS, that's your safety restraint system for anyone that doesn't know what that is. Your RF module, your ignition module, your steering console. If you have the buttons, those have a module inside of those. Your radio is a module. Basically, anything that is a module is anything that controls something else. And all of those modules have two wires that come off of it as a CAN wire, and that's your control area network. The letter is basically whatever your manufacturer is. Mopar for the RAM use a C letter for speed. If you have a slower speed that works on a different speed, a slower speed, you'll have a CAN B or CAN A. From what I've seen so far, my RAM uses a CAN C, the highest speed that is out right now, especially domestic, and that's what I have. And I have a CAN failure. Because my vehicle is restricted without charging me, they don't want to find it. They want me to find it. So I'm going to have to get the truck back from the dealership and find out where my CAN failure is. I know I have a new body harness. I know I have a new dash harness. So I know my CAN failure is not in any of those. There's a possibility, but usually your CAN failures is going to be either your module or your connector that goes into that module. There is a possibility that it could be the harness. There is a possibility, but just not a very high one. But the CAN failure, which I will also add a picture of what I took a picture of with my Altel. I do have a CAN bus low performance, but I think I got it out of the electronic power steering module. I don't remember, or I might have gotten it out of the ABS. I don't remember. So I know for a fact that one of those two could be my issue with shorting the CAN line, because the EPS. This is what the every time I go to the Dodge dealership, they keep asking me if I'll apply, because this is where I got them stumped at. I asked them if the engine harness has CAN lines in it. They say yes, the engine harness does have CAN lines in it. And I asked them, "Are you sure?" Because from my understanding, it doesn't have any in it. So they had to go back and look. And what it is that the computer, the main computer, the ECU, the TCM, the EPS, and the electronic power steering are all attached to the engine harness. But none of them actually are. I guess to actually explain it as a whole, the engine harness as a whole has CAN lines in it, but the engine harness itself does not have CAN lines in it. Like I said, the CAN lines are lines that use the high-speed communications to operate the vehicle's electronics. Now, your stuff underneath your truck for your idle air control, which is your throttle body now, your mass airflow sensor, these are not high communication systems. These are just here on, off, or a variance. That's what they are. They're not high-speed communication things. Um, and when they went and looked at it, they realized, okay, yeah, you're right. It doesn't have CAN lines in the engine harness. It has CAN lines going to the major those 3 or 4 major components that are attached to it. So basically, you have the wires that go into the main harness, and then you have CAN lines that go from the module that goes into the loom of the wire harness, but they don't actually go back to the fuse box like the others do. They actually split off and go back into the truck, and don't actually do anything inside of the actual box. So that's why they thought that it was part of the engine harness. If you look up the connector, it does say that it does. So that's where I'm at now. I got to get the truck back, and I got to do some diagnosing on that. I have a suspicion that it's going to be the EPS, the ABS, or the SRS module that's causing the short. But that's where I'm at now. So far, I'm not yet to where I'm regretting. I am regretting not getting the gray one, because I wouldn't have this much headache with the one that was, because it was run and drive. So I wouldn't have had as much headache. But so far, I'm still not, because the one that was run and drive would have been $18,000 to be where I am at now. Getting it, winning it, getting it transported, and getting parts, I've been $18,000. So far, I'm still less than 8 or 9 into this truck. So we'll see. And the other truck, I think, had 80,000 miles on it. This one's only got 44, so 45. So that's where we're at now. See ya.